Mark was packing when I walked into the bedroom. He didn't look at me. Shirts, jeans, shoes, everything went straight into the suitcase like the house was on fire. The zipper jammed once and he cursed under his breath, yanking it harder. "What are you doing?" I asked. Nothing, no answer. He kept packing. I stood there in my pajamas, trying to understand what I was seeing. It was early morning. The house was quiet. Our daughter Emma was still asleep upstairs. Just last night, Mark had eaten dinner with us like always. He had asked Emma about school. He had kissed my forehead before bed. "Mark," I said again, "talk to me." He finally stopped. For a second, I thought he might say something real. Instead, he shoved a stack of folded clothes into the case and zipped it shut. "I'm leaving today," he said. The words hit hard, not loud, not dramatic, just flat. "Leaving where?" I asked. "I'll figure it out." I stepped closer. "Why?" He picked up the suitcase and set it on the bed. Still no eye contact. "I can't do this anymore, Sarah." "Do what?" My voice was shaking now. "Be married, be a father." That's when he looked at me, and what I saw scared me more than anger ever could. There was nothing in his eyes. No guilt, no sadness, just decision. "This isn't a discussion," he said. "I've already made up my mind." I grabbed his arm. "You don't just walk out after 22 years. You don't just leave your child." He pulled his arm away like my touch annoyed him. "I should have done this years ago." I felt like the room tilted. "Is there someone else?" I asked. He paused just long enough for hope to appear, then it disappeared. "This isn't about anyone else," he said. "It's about me needing space." I knew that was a lie I'd known for months. The late nights, the phone always face down. The sudden privacy, I just hadn't wanted to say it out loud. "Where will you go?" I asked. I said I'll figure it out. He picked up his phone and wallet. Then, like it was just another chore, he said, "I need you to transfer my share of the savings to my personal account today." My stomach dropped. "The savings," I repeated. "Mark, that includes." "I know what it includes," he said. "Just do it." I didn't answer. I couldn't. He walked past me, dragging the suitcase behind him. I followed him downstairs. Emma was at the kitchen table, eating cereal. She looked up when she saw us. "Dad," she said, "why do you have your bag?" Mark didn't slow down. "I'm going on a trip," he said. Emma looked at me. I forced a smile that didn't feel real. "Your dad will be back later," I said. Mark reached the door. His hand was already on the handle. "That's it," I said. "You're not even going to explain this to your daughter." He turned slightly, looked at Emma for maybe 3 seconds. "You'll understand when you're older," he said. Then he opened the door and walked out. The door closed softly behind him. The house went quiet. Emma didn't cry, she didn't chase after him. She just sat there, staring at the door. "Mom," she said slowly, "did he take the money?" I didn't answer. I already knew the answer myself. I waited until Emma left for school. I told her dad had an early flight. She didn't argue. She just nodded, picked up her backpack, and paused at the door like she wanted to say something. Then she left without a word. The moment the door closed, my hands started shaking. I opened my laptop at the kitchen table. I logged into our bank account the way I had done 100 times before. Same password, same security question. The page loaded. I stared at the screen, not understanding what I was seeing. Checking account, $247.83. That didn't make sense. Rent alone was more than that. I refreshed the page. The number didn't change. I clicked on savings. $0. My chest tightened. I scrolled down, my fingers numb. Emma's college account. The account we'd been adding to since she was a baby. Birthdays, bonuses, tax returns, 12 years of careful planning. $0. "No," I whispered. I refreshed again, then again. Nothing changed. I opened the transaction history. My eyes moved down the list, slower with every line. 3 days ago. Multiple transfers. Large ones. Everything gone. Not half, not his share, all of it, checking, savings, Emma's college fund. $75,000. I grabbed my phone and called the bank. I didn't remember dialing. I just remember hearing a calm voice on the other end. Yes, Mrs. Patterson, the transfers were authorized. Authorized by who? I asked. Your husband. He has full access to all joint accounts. What about my daughter's account? He was listed as a custodian. So you're saying it's legal, I said. I'm saying the transfers went through correctly. I hung up without saying goodbye. The kitchen felt too quiet. The refrigerator hummed. The clock on the wall ticked louder than it ever had. I sat there for a long time, staring at the screen like it might fix itself if I didn't move. When Emma came home from school, she found me still at the table. Mom, she asked, you didn't eat. I looked up at her, really looked at her, her uniform wrinkled, hair pulled back, same kid she had been this morning. He took the money, I said. She didn't ask which money. All of it, she asked. I nodded. She stood there for a second. Then she walked to the sink, rinsed her empty lunch container, dried it, and put it away. Slow, careful, like she was following a routine. Then she turned back to me. Okay, she said. That was it, no tears, no yelling. Okay, I repeated. She picked up her backpack. I'll do my homework. Emma, I said, aren't you upset? She stopped at the stairs and looked at me. Her face was calm, but her eyes were sharp, focused. I already expected this, she said. I felt a chill. Expected what? That he would take the money. How could you know that? She didn't answer right away, just looked at me like she was deciding something. Then she said the same words she had said that morning. Don't worry, Mom, I handled it. And she went upstairs, leaving me alone with an empty house and a sentence that made no sense at all. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the bank screen. Zeros where numbers should have been. Mark's face when he said he was leaving. Emma's voice saying she had handled it. Handled what? At 3 a.m, I went upstairs and stood outside Emma's room. Her light was off. Everything was quiet. I told myself I was imagining things. She was 12. She couldn't have done anything about stolen money. Still, something felt wrong. The next few days passed in a strange blur. Mark didn't call, he didn't text. I left him 2 voicemails before I stopped trying. Both went unanswered. The house felt different without him. Bigger, colder, like it was holding its breath. Emma, on the other hand, acted exactly the same. She woke up at the same time every morning. She made her lunch. She caught the bus. She came home, did her homework, ate dinner, and went to bed. No questions, no tears, no anger. Too normal. One evening, I heard it. Click, click, click. Fast, steady. Typing. I froze halfway up the stairs. The sound was coming from Emma's room. It didn't sound like games or schoolwork. It was constant, like someone racing against time. I waited. The typing didn't stop. When I knocked, the sound cut off instantly. Come in, Emma said. She was sitting at her desk. Her laptop was open, but the screen showed a blank document. What are you working on? I asked. Homework. What subject? Science. I looked around her room. Everything was neat, too neat. Her notebooks stacked perfectly. Her desk cleared except for what she wanted me to see. You've been up late, I said. She shrugged. I couldn't sleep. I watched her closely. Emma, about what you said the other day. What did I say? That you handled it. She didn't look at me. She adjusted a pen on her desk, lining it up with the edge. I just meant you don't need to worry, she said. That's not an answer. She finally looked up. Her face didn't change, but something in her eyes hardened. Mom, she said carefully, please trust me. I wanted to push, I wanted to demand explanations, but she looked so sure, so calm. I nodded and left her room. The typing started again the moment I reached the stairs. 2 nights later, I found the paper. I was putting clean laundry on Emma's bed when I noticed a single sheet sticking out from under a textbook. White paper, printed text. I shouldn't have looked. But I did. The first line made my heart stop. From Mark. To Rebecca. My hands shook as I pulled the page free. It was an email thread. Dates, times, hotel names, plans, words I never wanted to read. They talked about me like I was a problem to solve. They talked about money. They talked about, after Sarah finds out. I sat down hard on the edge of the bed. Mom. I looked up. Emma was standing in the doorway, holding an empty plate. She wasn't surprised. She wasn't angry. She had expected this. Where did you get this? I asked. She closed the door behind her and walked in slowly. I printed it, she said. How? My voice broke. How did you even see this? She set the plate down and met my eyes. Dad isn't careful, she said. He never has been. I stared at her. How long have you known? About the affair, she asked. Yes. 6 weeks. I felt sick. And the money. I figured that out the day before he left. The room spun. Why didn't you tell me? I asked. She hesitated for the first time. Because I wanted proof, she said, and because I wanted time. Time for what? She took a breath. To fix it. I realized then that whatever Emma had done, it was already in motion. And I was just catching up. I sat on Emma's bed, holding the printed email while she stood in front of me, calm and silent. You're a child, I said finally. You shouldn't be doing this. She didn't argue. I know, she said, but I didn't have a choice. You always have a choice, I said. She shook her head. Not when someone is stealing from you. That sentence landed heavier than anything else she'd said. I looked around her room again. The clean desk, the organized shelves, the closed laptop. Nothing looked out of place. And yet, I felt like I was standing in a room I had never seen before. Show me, I said. Emma didn't move. Show you what? She asked. Whatever you've been doing, I said. I don't want surprises anymore. She studied my face like she was measuring risk. Then she walked to her bed, knelt down, and pulled something out from underneath. A spiral notebook. She handed it to me without a word. The first page was filled edge to edge with writing. Dates, times, names, password patterns, account numbers, some crossed out, some circled. I flipped the page. Screenshots, printed messages, notes in the margins, arrows pointing to details I wouldn't have noticed. What is this? I asked. My notes, she said. Notes for what? For keeping track. Keeping track of your father? I asked. Yes. I kept flipping. The pages went on and on. Phone numbers, email addresses, diagrams showing how money moved between accounts. My hands were shaking. Emma, I said, this isn't normal. She sat beside me on the bed. Neither is what he did. How did you even get this information? I asked. She leaned back against the headboard. Dad uses the same password for everything, always has. I guessed it once when I was bored. It worked. That doesn't mean you should have kept going. I didn't plan to, she said, but then I saw the transfers. My throat tightened. You saw them before I did. She nodded. I was on the computer when the notification came in. I didn't understand it at first, so I started looking. Looking turned into weeks of work. I checked his email, his cloud storage, his second phone. Second phone, I repeated. She glanced at me. You didn't know. No. He hid it in his closet. I saw him using it late at night. One day he forgot to take it with him. I closed my eyes. How long were you watching him? I asked. Long enough. I opened the notebook again. One page had a name written in bold letters. Rebecca Sterling. I found her first, Emma said. Then I found everything else. What else? I asked. She reached for the notebook and flipped to another section. Her job, she said, her accounts, her mistakes. I stared at her. You hacked her. I logged in, she corrected. She uses her last name and graduation year. It took 10 seconds. That's illegal, I said. So is embezzlement, Emma replied. I looked at my daughter, really looked at her. Her voice was steady, her hands didn't shake. There was no fear in her eyes. Emma, I said quietly, what are you planning to do? She took the notebook back and closed it carefully. I already started, she said. Started what? Making sure they don't get away with it. A cold realization settled in my chest. This wasn't a child reacting. This was a plan. And it had been unfolding long before I even knew the damage existed. That night, I didn't stop Emma. When she went back to her desk and opened her laptop, I didn't tell her to shut it down. I sat in my room instead, staring at the ceiling, listening to the quiet clicks of keys through the wall. Click, click, click. Steady, focused. I didn't know what scared me more, that she could do all this, or that she didn't seem scared at all. The next morning, life continued like nothing had broken. Emma ate toast. She checked her backpack. She reminded me that the electric bill was due in 3 days. You don't need to worry about that, I said. She looked up. We do, we have less margin now. Less margin. That's how she said it, like a budget problem, not like her father had emptied our future and disappeared. After she left for school, I checked the mailbox. Nothing, no letters from Mark, no apology, no explanation. Just silence. That afternoon, my phone rang. Mark's name flashed on the screen. My heart jumped. I answered immediately. Hello. His voice sounded strained, tight. Sarah, he said, something's wrong. I didn't speak. My bank accounts, he continued, they're frozen. I leaned against the counter. What do you mean frozen? I mean I can't access anything. Not checking, not savings, nothing. I said nothing. And Rebecca, he stopped, took a breath. Rebecca got escorted out of work today. I closed my eyes. Escorted out, I asked. She was suspended, for some investigation. They won't tell her details. The words came fast now, panicked. This can't be a coincidence, he said. Someone is messing with us. Us? Who would do that? I asked. I don't know, he snapped. But it's serious, banks, employers, someone knows things. I glanced toward the hallway. Emma's door was closed. The typing had stopped. Maybe you should talk to a lawyer, I said. I can't, he said. My credit is flagged, everything is flagged. He lowered his voice. Sarah, did you do something? No, I said honestly. Silence. I need to come by, he said. We need to talk. No, I said. Another pause. Then quietly, Emma, she didn't say anything, did she? My blood went cold. Why would she? I asked. I don't know, he said quickly, just asking. I ended the call. 5 minutes later, Emma walked into the kitchen like she'd been waiting. He called you, she said. Yes, I replied. What did he say? I hesitated. That his accounts are frozen, that Rebecca is under investigation. Emma nodded once, like she'd expected that answer. What did you do? I asked. She pulled out a chair and sat down. I reported what I found, she said, to the right places. What places? Banks, regulators, her employer, credit agencies. My chest felt tight. Under your name. No, she said, anonymously. You're 12, I said. How could you even know where to report this? She looked at me. There are guides for everything. Emma, I said slowly, this is real. People get arrested for this. Yes, she said, that's the point. I stared at her. What if he figures it out? I asked. She tilted her head, thought for a moment. Then he'll panic, she said, and people who panic make mistakes. I didn't recognize the calm certainty in her voice. And for the first time, I realized this wasn't about revenge. Emma wasn't reacting. She was controlling the situation. And Mark had no idea how far behind he already was. Mark showed up 2 days later. I didn't open the door right away. I watched him through the window. He looked smaller somehow, unshaven, jacket wrinkled. He kept checking his phone like it might betray him again. When I finally opened the door, he forced a smile. Hey, he said, can I come in? No, I said. His smile dropped. Sarah, please, this is serious. You made it serious, I replied. He stepped inside anyway, like he still had the right. His eyes moved quickly around the living room, like he was checking for something missing. Where's Emma? He asked. At school. He nodded, relieved, or maybe disappointed, I couldn't tell. Listen, he said, lowering his voice. Someone is trying to destroy us. You already did that, I said. He ignored the comment. My accounts are frozen. Rebecca is under investigation. Someone sent documents to her firm, real documents. Then maybe she shouldn't have stolen money, I said. His head snapped up. What? I held his gaze. You heard me. He stared at me for a long moment, then he laughed nervously. You don't understand what's happening, he said. This is bigger than you think. I understand enough, I said. He stepped closer. Did you talk to anyone? A lawyer, a private investigator? No. Then who? His voice rose. Who would even have access to that information? I didn't answer. His eyes narrowed. Sarah, Emma hasn't been on your computer, has she? I felt my stomach drop, but I didn't show it. She's a child, I said. Don't drag her into your mess. His face tightened. She's smarter than you think. I crossed my arms. Leave. Not until I know what's going on, he said. Because this, he gestured wildly, this is coordinated. I stepped closer. You stole from your own daughter. You don't get answers anymore. For a second I thought he might shout. Instead he looked tired, defeated. I was going to pay it back, he said quietly. It was temporary. You took $75,000, I said. That's not temporary. He rubbed his face. Rebecca had an opportunity, a sure thing, we just needed startup money. Our daughter's college fund was your startup money. He didn't answer. That's when I heard the bus outside. Mark heard it too. His head turned sharply toward the door. Is that? Yes, I said. He backed away, like he suddenly remembered something important. I should go, he said. We'll talk later. There is no later, I replied. The door opened behind me. Emma walked in. She looked at her father calmly. No fear, no anger. Hi, Dad, she said. Mark froze. Emma, he said, forcing warmth into his voice. Sweetheart. She set her bag down slowly. Your accounts are frozen, she said. His face went pale. What did you say? Rebecca is under investigation, Emma continued, and the mortgage application was denied. He stared at her like he was seeing her for the first time. How would you know that? He asked. Emma met his eyes. Because I've been watching, she said. The room went silent. Mark's mouth opened, but no sound came out. And in that moment, I knew this conversation was only beginning. Mark stared at Emma like she had spoken in a foreign language. Watching what? He asked. Emma didn't raise her voice. She didn't move closer or step back. She just stood there, calm, like she was explaining homework. Your emails, she said. Your accounts, your second phone. My breath caught. Mark looked at me. Sarah, tell me this is a joke. I didn't answer. He turned back to Emma, his voice sharp now. You went through my things. Yes, she said. You left them open. That's private, he snapped. That's illegal. So is what you did, Emma replied. He laughed, loud and shaky. You're a child. You don't understand what you're talking about. I understand numbers, she said, and signatures and transfers. She reached into her backpack and pulled out a folded sheet of paper. She handed it to him. He hesitated, then took it. As he read, his face changed. Color drained from it. What is this? He whispered. Your loan application, Emma said. The one you filed using my name. That's not, he stopped, swallowed. That's not complete. It's complete enough, she said. Credit agencies think so. He looked at me again, panic breaking through. She doesn't know what she's doing. Emma stepped closer. I know exactly what I'm doing. He shook his head. You don't get to do this to me. You did it to yourself, she said. His hands started shaking. You reported me. I reported the truth, Emma said. You ruined everything, he said, his voice rising. No, she replied, you did. He turned to me. You let her do this. I finally spoke. You took her future. You don't get to decide how she reacts. Mark backed away like the room was closing in. This isn't over, he said. You think you're smart, but adults fix this. Emma didn't flinch. Adults caused it, she said. I just documented it. He laughed again, but this time it sounded desperate. You think banks and investigators care what a kid sends them? They already responded, she said. His smile vanished. What do you mean responded? They froze your accounts, she said. They flagged the mortgage. They opened a review. Mark's phone buzzed in his hand. He looked down at it. Then again. Then a third time. His breathing got faster. "Stop," he said suddenly. "Whatever you're doing, stop." Emma tilted her head. "I can't." "Why not?" he demanded. "Because it's already moving," she said, "and I saved copies." He looked at her like she had slapped him. "You're threatening me." "No," she said, "I'm informing you." For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Mark turned toward the door. "I need to make some calls," he said. He reached for the handle. "Dad," Emma said. He froze. "If you try to hide assets or open new accounts," she continued, "it will make things worse." He turned slowly. "You're bluffing." Emma met his eyes. "I'm not." He left without another word. The door closed. The house was quiet again. I looked at my daughter, my heart pounding. "Emma," I said softly, "how far does this go?" She picked up her backpack and walked toward the stairs. "As far as the truth takes it," she said. And I realized Mark wasn't running anymore. He was being chased. That night, Emma didn't go to bed early. She sat at her desk with her door half open, laptop glowing, fingers moving fast. I watched from the hallway for a moment before she noticed me. "You should sleep," I said. "In a bit," she replied. I stepped inside her room. "I need to understand what's happening." She stopped typing. "Okay," she said, "but don't interrupt." She turned the laptop toward me. The screen was filled with folders, dozens of them, each one labeled clearly. Bank records, email logs, loan documents, Rebecca work accounts, backups. "This isn't just one thing," I said quietly. "No," Emma said, "it never was." She clicked into one folder. Spreadsheets opened, rows of numbers, dates, transfers. "Dad moved the money in pieces," she said, "not all at once. He thought that would make it harder to track." "And you tracked it anyway," I said. She nodded. "Banks don't hide patterns well." She opened another folder. Emails appeared, messages between Mark and Rebecca, plans, excuses, lies written like they'd never be read by anyone else. "He thought deleting them was enough," she said. "It wasn't." My stomach turned. "Emma, how long did this take you?" She thought for a moment. 3 weeks. 3 weeks, I repeated. "Every night," she said, "after homework." I sat down on her bed, while I was crying and calling him. She didn't respond to that. She clicked again. A scanned document filled the screen. "That's the mortgage file," she said. "Florida, they used your employment history and my identity." I stared at my own name on the page. "This is fraud." "Yes." "And identity theft." "Yes." She clicked to another tab. Confirmation emails, case numbers, automated replies. "I sent reports to the credit agencies first," she said. "That slowed them down. Then I sent everything else." "To who?" I asked. "His bank, her firm, 2 regulators, 1 fraud hotline." I felt dizzy, and no one questioned where this came from. "They questioned the evidence," Emma said. "That's what matters." I looked at her. "You could get in trouble for this." She finally looked uncertain, just for a second. "I didn't change anything," she said. "I didn't fake anything. I showed what already existed." "That still doesn't make it safe," I said. She closed the laptop partway. "Neither is letting them disappear with everything." I rubbed my face. "What about Rebecca?" Emma opened another folder. "More records, transfers that didn't involve us." "She's been doing this for years," Emma said. "Different clients, small amounts she thought no one would notice." "And you noticed," I said. "She used the same passwords everywhere," Emma replied. "People always do." I swallowed. "What happens now?" Emma closed the laptop completely. "Now we wait," she said. "For what?" "For them to react." She stood up and walked to the window, looking out into the dark street. "They think they're in control," she continued. "They're not." I watched my daughter, 12 years old, standing there like someone twice her age. "And if they come after us?" I asked. She turned back to me. "They can't," she said. "Everything I sent is true." The certainty in her voice didn't comfort me. It scared me. Because Emma wasn't guessing anymore. She was certain. And whatever came next, she was already prepared for it. The call came next afternoon. I was folding laundry when my phone started ringing. Mark's name flashed on the screen again. I hesitated this time before answering. Hello. His voice was raw, not angry, not loud, just shaken. They're investigating Rebecca, he said, for real. I didn't respond. They pulled her client files, he continued. They froze her work accounts, her boss won't even talk to her. I leaned against the wall. She's saying someone set her up, he said, but they're saying the numbers match, all of it. I glanced toward Emma's room. Her door was closed. The typing had started again. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Because it's getting out of control, he said. They're looking at me too. For what? I asked, even though I already knew. Fraud, he said quietly. Identity misuse. The word hung in the air. They asked about the loan, he continued, the one in Emma's name. I closed my eyes. They know, I said. Yes, he said, they know. His breathing was uneven now. I need this to stop, he said. Whatever she's doing, whatever you're letting her do, it needs to stop now. I didn't answer. Sarah, he said, desperation creeping in, Rebecca is falling apart. She says she's being watched. Her landlord got a call. Her credit card stopped working. That was new. I hadn't known about the landlord. I walked slowly to Emma's room and knocked. The typing stopped. I opened the door. She looked up, calm as ever. Dad's on the phone, I said. He says Rebecca's landlord got involved. Emma nodded. Yes. Yes, I repeated. She violated her lease, Emma said. She was using her apartment address for business accounts that didn't exist. Mark's voice rose on the phone. What is she saying? I held the phone closer. Emma says Rebecca violated her lease. There was a sharp inhale on the other end. How would she know that? He demanded. Emma walked closer and took the phone from my hand. Hi, Dad, she said evenly. There was a long silence. You need to stop, Mark said finally. You don't understand how dangerous this is. I understand consequences, Emma replied. You're ruining her life, he said. Emma didn't react. She ruined her own. People go to prison for this, he snapped. Yes, Emma said. That's usually what happens. Mark's voice cracked. You're enjoying this. Emma paused, just for a second. No, she said. I'm finishing it. I watched Mark's face through Emma's expression. I could almost see him shrinking. You think this ends well? He asked. For you. Emma's voice stayed steady. It ends correctly. He laughed bitterly. You're 12. And you're careless, she replied. Silence. Then Mark spoke again, slower this time. Rebecca's father called me. Emma's eyes narrowed slightly. Did he? He knows, Mark said. About her accounts, about the money. Emma nodded. I told him. The color drained from my face. You what? I mouthed. Emma covered the phone briefly. He deserved to know. She uncovered it again. He's powerful, Emma, Mark warned. You shouldn't have done that. I didn't threaten him, she said. I sent facts. Mark sounded close to breaking now. She blocked my number, he said. She won't talk to me anymore. Emma looked at me, then back at the phone. That was this morning, she said. She changed her passwords after that. Mark made a sound that didn't sound human. You planned all of this, he whispered. Emma said nothing. The silence was answer enough. Mark didn't call again that night. Instead, he showed up. It was after dark when I heard a knock at the door. Not loud, not urgent, just steady, like he knew I would answer. I looked through the peephole. He was standing too close to the door. His face looked hollow. His eyes darted left and right like he was afraid someone might be watching. I opened the door partway. You can't be here, I said. I need to talk to her, he replied. No. She's my daughter. She's 12, I said, and you're not welcome. His jaw tightened. This has gone too far. You took it too far, I said. He lowered his voice. She contacted Rebecca's father. I didn't respond. He called me, Mark said. He knows everything. He thinks I helped steal from his daughter's clients. I folded my arms. Did you? Mark didn't answer. I need Emma to fix this, he said. She started it, she can stop it. She didn't start anything, I said. You did. He pushed the door open another inch. Let me talk to her. No. Behind me, I heard footsteps. Emma stood at the end of the hallway. Dad, she said. Mark turned toward her immediately. Emma, thank God, listen to me. She walked forward slowly. You contacted Dr. Sterling, he said. That was a mistake. I contacted a victim's family member, she replied. That's not a mistake. He's furious, Mark said. He has lawyers' connections. Emma stopped a few feet away. I sent him evidence, she said, not opinions. You don't understand what you've triggered, he said. This is becoming criminal. It already was, Emma replied. He ran his hands through his hair. Rebecca is losing everything. Her father cut her off. Her accounts are frozen. She might be arrested. Emma looked at him calmly. She stole money. That doesn't mean you destroy her, he snapped. She destroyed herself, Emma said. He stepped closer. You're enjoying watching this. I'm making sure it ends, she replied. Mark's voice broke. You don't know what it's like to lose everything. Emma met his eyes. You taught me. Silence filled the hallway. I'm begging you, Mark said. Please undo this. I'll pay the money back. I'll fix it. Emma shook her head. You can't. Why not? He shouted. Because the reports are already filed, she said, and other people have come forward. Mark froze. What do you mean other people? Emma's voice stayed even. Clients, families, people she stole from. He took a step back. You turned this into a case. Yes, she said. He laughed weakly. You're just a kid. Emma didn't respond. I'll go to the police, he said suddenly. I'll tell them you hacked my accounts. Emma tilted her head. You can try. And they'll arrest you. They'll investigate you first, she said. Mark stared at her. You saved everything, he whispered. Yes. Every email. Yes. Every document. Yes. And if I touch anything. It gets worse, Emma said. He backed away slowly. I don't recognize you, he said. Emma's expression didn't change. You stopped recognizing us first, she replied. Mark turned and left without another word. The door closed behind him. I leaned against the wall, shaking. Emma turned to me. It's accelerating now, she said. What is? I asked. The collapse, she replied. And I knew there was no going back. The next morning, Mark's name was everywhere. Not on the news, not publicly, but inside emails, messages, missed calls. My phone buzzed nonstop. Voicemails from unknown numbers. One from a lawyer asking me to return a call. Another from Mark's sister, crying and confused. I didn't answer any of them. Emma sat at the kitchen table eating cereal like it was a school day. Because it was. Dad's family is panicking, I said carefully. She nodded. They just found out. Found out what? That his accounts are being reviewed too, she said. Not just Rebecca's. My spoon froze halfway to my mouth. They're looking at him now, I asked. Yes. How do you know? They sent an automated notice, Emma replied. He forwarded it to his email backup. He forgot I had access. I put the spoon down. Emma, I said slowly, this is getting big. It already was, she said. She wiped her hands and opened her laptop. A new folder was on the screen. Mark, secondary review. She clicked it open. Inside were emails from banks, requests for clarification, notices of restricted access. They're asking about transfers, she said. About timing, about intent. Intent, I repeated. Yes, she said, that's important. She scrolled. He moved the money right before leaving, she continued. That matters. I leaned back in my chair. Are they accusing him? They're verifying, she said, which usually means they already suspect. I rubbed my temples. Emma, I said, what if this ruins him completely? She didn't look up. He chose that risk, she said. The doorbell rang. We both froze. I walked to the door and opened it carefully. 2 men stood outside, suits, no badges visible. Mrs. Patterson, one asked. Yes. We'd like to ask a few questions regarding recent financial activity connected to your household. My stomach dropped. Is this about Mark? I asked. It's about multiple accounts, the man replied. May we come in? I hesitated. Emma appeared beside me. You should speak to our attorney, she said calmly. The men looked surprised. You have legal representation, one asked. Yes, Emma replied. Contact information is in the email sent last night. Their eyes flicked to each other. We'll follow up, the first man said. They turned and left. I closed the door and leaned against it. Emma, I whispered, when did we get a lawyer? Last night, she said. I stared at her. You hired a lawyer. I contacted legal aid, she corrected. They connected us to someone handling financial abuse cases. When did you do that? After Dad left, she said. I knew we'd need one. I sat down hard on the couch. Mark's phone rang minutes later. I watched it vibrate on the counter. Emma glanced at it. He knows now, she said. Knows what? I asked. That he's no longer in control. The phone stopped ringing. A text message appeared. Mark, please tell me what she wants. I'll do anything. Emma didn't pick up the phone. She closed her laptop instead. He's out of moves, she said. And for the first time, I believed her. Mark didn't come back after that. He didn't knock, he didn't call again that day. The silence felt heavier than the shouting ever had. By evening, messages started appearing in my inbox. Notices from banks, credit alerts, verification emails asking if recent activity was authorized. Everything Emma had warned me about was happening. She sat beside me on the couch, laptop open, sorting through alerts. This one is harmless, she said, closing an email. This one matters. What happens next? I asked. She thought for a moment. Now the institutions talk to each other. That night I barely slept. My mind replayed everything. The money, the emails, the look on Mark's face when he realized he wasn't ahead anymore. At 2:15 a.m. my phone rang. Mark. I answered. Sarah, he said immediately. His voice was hoarse. I'm in trouble. I stayed silent. They froze everything, he continued. Not just accounts, credit cards, lines of credit, even my business access. I heard movement on his end, like he was pacing. They think I helped her, he said. They think I knew. Did you? I asked. He didn't answer. Rebecca was arrested, he said quietly. My breath caught. They took her in this afternoon, he said. Fraud, embezzlement, multiple counts. I closed my eyes. She thinks this is my fault, he added. She says if I hadn't taken the money, none of this would have happened. Emma was standing in the doorway, listening. Did you take the money? Emma asked, loud enough for him to hear. There was a long pause. Yes, Mark said. And did you lie? She asked. Yes. And did you use my name? She continued. Another pause, longer this time. Yes. Emma stepped closer to the phone. Then this is the result, she said. Mark's breathing was uneven. I lost my job, he said suddenly. They suspended me pending investigation. I said nothing. They told me not to contact clients, he continued. Not to touch accounts, not to leave the state. Emma met my eyes. Travel restriction, she mouthed. Sarah, Mark said, his voice breaking. Please, tell her to stop. Emma took the phone from my hand. There's nothing to stop, she said. It's not in my hands anymore. You destroyed my life, he whispered. You dismantled it yourself, Emma replied. I'm living in my car, he said. I can't rent, I can't open accounts. Emma didn't react. You took my future, she said calmly. I documented it. Silence. Then Mark spoke again, smaller this time. I never thought you'd do this. I never thought you'd steal from me, Emma replied. She ended the call. The line went dead. I stood there shaking. Emma set the phone down gently. It's done, she said. What is? I asked. The turning point, she replied. And I knew she was right. Because after that call, Mark stopped fighting. And the consequences had finally taken over. The days after Mark's call were quiet. Too quiet. No knocks, no late-night calls, no angry messages, just notifications, emails, official language replacing panic. Emma tracked everything. "They've opened a formal case," she said one morning, scrolling through her laptop, "against both of them." I sat across from her, coffee untouched. "What kind of case?" I asked. "Financial fraud, identity misuse, conspiracy." The words didn't sound real. "They're moving slowly now," she continued. "That's normal." I nodded, even though nothing about this felt normal. That afternoon, I ran into Mark's sister at the grocery store. She looked exhausted. "Sarah," she said, grabbing my arm. "What's happening? Mark won't answer anyone." I pulled my arm free gently. "You should ask him." She lowered her voice. "They searched his apartment." I froze. "When?" I asked. "Yesterday," she said. "They took his laptop, his phone." I drove home with my hands tight on the wheel. Emma was at the kitchen table when I walked in. "They searched his place," I said. She nodded. "I expected that." "You expected it?" I asked. "He backed up everything," she said, "on multiple devices." I sat down slowly. "They'll find the second phone," she continued, "and the email archive." "And then?" I asked. "Then it becomes evidence." That night, a letter arrived. Not addressed to me. To Emma. I opened it before thinking. It was from Mark. Handwritten, messy, uneven. He wrote about mistakes, about pressure, about how things got out of control. He said he never meant to hurt her, that he still loved her. I handed the letter to Emma. She read it once, then folded it neatly and placed it in a drawer. "He's trying to rewrite the story," she said. "Does it work?" I asked. "No," she replied, "because the facts already exist." The next day, news broke quietly. Rebecca Sterling charged with multiple counts of fraud. No names mentioned beyond hers. But the ripple started. Former clients came forward, old complaints resurfaced, patterns emerged. Emma watched the updates without expression. "They're connecting everything now," she said. "What about your father?" I asked. "They'll get there," she replied. That evening, Emma's laptop chimed. She read the message. "They're requesting a statement," she said. "From you?" I asked. "Yes." My chest tightened. "You don't have to do that." "I do," she said. "I'm listed as a victim." She typed slowly, carefully. When she finished, she closed the laptop. "That's it," she said. "For you?" I asked. "For me," she replied. "Now it's official." I watched my daughter sit there, calm and steady, as if she hadn't just locked the final door on her father's old life. And I realized something unsettling. Emma wasn't reacting anymore. She had moved on. And everyone else was just catching up. The call came late. Not from Mark's number. Unknown. I almost didn't answer. Emma looked up from the table. "It's him," she said. I picked up. "Sarah," Mark said. His voice sounded hollow. "I need to speak to Emma." "No," I replied. "Please," he said, "just once." Emma stood up and held out her hand. I gave her the phone. "Hi, Dad," she said. There was a long pause. "Emma," he said finally, "I'm not doing well." She didn't respond. "They took my computer," he continued. "They took everything. I can't even access my email." "I know," she said. "How do you know?" he asked weakly. "You keep backups," she replied. "You always did." He exhaled shakily. "I never meant for this to happen," he said. "Things got complicated." "You stole," Emma said. "Yes," he admitted, "but I was going to fix it." "You used my name," she continued. "Yes." "You plan to leave," she said. Another pause. "Yes." Emma's voice didn't change. "Then this is the outcome," she said. "Emma, listen," he said quickly. "They're talking about charges, prison." She said nothing. "I'm scared," he added. "I don't have anyone." "You had us," Emma said. "You chose differently." His voice cracked. "I'm still your father." Emma looked at me, then back at the phone. "You stopped acting like one," she said. "I love you," he said suddenly. "I always did." Emma didn't respond right away. Then she said, "Loving someone doesn't mean taking from them." He started crying, loud, uncontrolled. "I ruined everything," he said. "I ruined you." Emma closed her eyes briefly. "You didn't ruin me," she said. "You showed me who you are." Silence. "Is there anything I can do?" he asked. "No," she replied. She ended the call. The phone went dark. I watched her carefully. She didn't cry, she didn't shake. She sat back down and opened her notebook. "What are you writing?" I asked. "Dates," she said. "What was said?" "For what?" I asked. "In case it's needed," she replied. I nodded slowly. That night, I realized something final. This wasn't anger. This wasn't revenge. This was closure. And Mark had just received his. After that call, Mark disappeared. Not physically, digitally. No messages, no emails, no attempts to reach Emma, even his voicemail greeting vanished. It was like he had erased himself before anyone else could. Emma noticed first. "He stopped logging in," she said, watching her screen. "No activity for 12 hours. "Is that bad?" I asked. "It means he's scared," she replied. The next day, a letter arrived from a law firm. Not threatening, careful, polite, it asked for cooperation. It mentioned Emma by name, it listed account numbers and dates. Emma read it once and handed it to me. "They're building the timeline," she said. I felt a chill, against him. "And Rebecca," she replied, "they're linked." That afternoon, Mark's sister called again. "He's not answering," she said. "He's not home, his car is gone." Emma looked up. "When did she last see him?" she asked. "Yesterday morning," his sister said. Emma nodded to herself. "He's trying to disappear," she said after the call ended. "Can he?" I asked. She shook her head. "Not anymore." That night, another alert came in. Attempted account access, denied. Emma stared at the screen. "He tried to move money," she said, "or hide it." "And?" I asked. "They flagged it," she replied. "Now it looks worse." My phone rang minutes later. "Mark." I answered. "Sarah," he said fast, breathless. "She ruined me." I closed my eyes. "She documented what you did," I said. "They're treating me like a criminal," he said. "I never hurt anyone." "You stole from your child," I replied. "I was under pressure," he said. "Rebecca needed help." "Then help her with your own money," I said. Emma stepped beside me. "Dad," she said. He went quiet. "I see the reports," he said slowly. "The flags, the notes." "Yes," Emma replied. "You planned this," he whispered. "I prepared for it," she said. "You destroyed me," he said. Emma didn't raise her voice. "No," she said. "I removed your protection." There was a long silence. "They're going to arrest me," he said finally. Emma looked at me, then back at the phone. "If they do," she said, "it will be because of what you did." He started to speak again, but she ended the call. The house was quiet. I sat down heavily. "Emma," I said, "are you okay?" She considered the question. "I am," she said. "I don't feel confused anymore." "About what?" I asked. "About who he is," she replied. She closed her laptop. "That matters," she added. I nodded. Outside, a car passed slowly, headlights cutting across the wall. Somewhere else, Mark was running out of places to hide. And for the first time, I knew he understood something clearly. This wasn't happening to him. It was happening because of him. The court date came faster than I expected. Not the trial, just the first hearing. Emma didn't ask to attend. She didn't avoid it either. She listened while I explained what would happen, nodding like she was memorizing instructions. "They'll ask questions," I said, "about the accounts, about the transfers." "I already wrote everything down," she replied. She handed me a folder. Inside were printed timelines, dates, amounts, short explanations, no emotion, just facts. "That's all they need," she said. On the morning of the hearing, I left Emma at school like any other day. She reminded me to bring my ID and the folder. "You'll be fine," she said. I sat in the courtroom alone. Mark was brought in from the side door. He looked thinner, his hands were cuffed. When he saw me, his face changed. Not relief, not anger, something like shock. He didn't look at me again. The hearing was short, formal, cold. Charges were read, bail discussed, restrictions listed. When it was over, I walked out without speaking to him. Emma was at the kitchen table when I got home. "How did it go?" she asked. "They set another date," I said. "They denied bail." She nodded once. "That makes sense," she said. Later that week, Emma had her first appointment with a counselor. She didn't argue about going, she didn't ask questions, she treated it like another task. When she came home, she went straight to her room. I waited. That evening, she sat across from me at dinner. The counselor asked how I felt, she said. And, I asked. I told her the truth. "What was that?" "That I feel calm," she said. "Not happy, not sad, just calm." I nodded. She asked if I felt guilty. Emma continued. "Do you?" I asked. Emma thought for a moment. "No," she said, "I feel finished." A letter arrived 2 days later. From Mark. Another handwritten one, shorter this time. He apologized. Again, he said he never meant to involve Emma, that he hoped she would forgive him one day. Emma read it silently. Then she tore it in half. She didn't cry, she didn't hesitate. She dropped the pieces in the trash. "He's still talking about himself," she said. I didn't argue. That night, Emma closed her laptop earlier than usual. "I don't need to check anymore," she said. "Check what?" I asked. "Him," she replied. She turned off the light. And for the first time in weeks, the house slept without waiting for the next alert. The case didn't stay quiet. It spread slowly at first. A mention in a local report, then another article, then names connected to names. Rebecca's charges expanded. More victims came forward. Old clients, new ones, people who hadn't known where their money had gone. Emma followed none of it directly. She didn't read the articles. She didn't search for updates. When something came up on my phone, she listened without comment. "They're connecting the patterns," I said one evening. "That was inevitable," she replied. One afternoon, a woman knocked on our door. She introduced herself carefully, said she worked with a consumer protection office. She asked if Emma would be willing to speak to someone about how she discovered the fraud. Emma looked at me first. "You don't have to," I said. "I know," she replied. "I can answer questions." The meeting was short, controlled. Emma spoke clearly. She explained how she noticed irregular transfers, how she checked records, how she documented everything. No emotion, no blame. Just steps. When it was over, the woman nodded slowly. "You're very composed," she said. Emma didn't respond. After she left, Emma closed the door and leaned against it. "That's enough," she said. "Enough of what?" I asked. "Enough explaining," she replied. That week another letter arrived, this one from the court. Emma was officially listed as a protected victim, her identity sealed from public records. "They did that because of your age," I said. She nodded. "Good." Mark's name appeared online for the first time. Not headlines, just records, public filings, charges listed in plain text. Emma saw it once by accident. She closed the page immediately. "I don't need to see that," she said. The counselor appointment continued weekly. One afternoon, Emma came home quieter than usual. "She asked me something different today," Emma said. "What?" I asked. "She asked who I trust now." I waited. "I said you," Emma continued, "and myself." That night, I heard her typing again. Not fast, not frantic. Slow. Careful. When I looked over her shoulder, she wasn't tracking accounts or reading emails. She was writing. A simple document, plain text. Dates, signs, warnings. "What's that?" I asked. "Notes," she said, "for later." "For what later?" She paused. "For someone else who notices too late." I didn't say anything. I just watched her type. Emma wasn't rebuilding what was lost. She was closing a chapter and preparing for whatever came next. The email arrived on a Tuesday afternoon. It wasn't addressed to me. It was for Emma. She opened it slowly, reading each line twice. Then she closed the laptop without saying anything. "What is it?" I asked. "An offer," she said. "From who?" "A technology company," she replied. "They work with fraud prevention." I waited. "They know about the case," she continued. "They figured out someone young was involved." My chest tightened. "What do they want?" "They want me to join a youth program," she said. "Training, resources, a future role." "That sounds good," I said carefully. "They want ownership," she replied, "of anything I build." She opened the laptop again and showed me the message. It was formal, polished, promising. "They're offering to fund my education," she added. "Any college." I looked at her. "That's incredible." Emma stared at the screen. "They make money from fear," she said, "from people losing things." I didn't argue. "I don't want to work like that," she said. "So what will you do?" I asked. She closed the laptop again. "I already started something else," she said. She reached into her backpack and pulled out a simple card. "A name, an email, nothing fancy. I help families check their accounts," she said. "I show them what to look for." I stared at the card. "You're charging for this?" I asked. "Some of them insist," she replied. "I keep it small." "And you're doing this legally?" I asked. "Yes," she said. "I don't access anything, I explain." I leaned back in my chair. Emma looked at me. "I replaced part of the college fund," she said quietly. I didn't speak. "Not all of it," she added, "but enough to prove it's possible." That night, she sent a short reply to the company. No emotion, no apology. Just a refusal. The next morning, she woke up early and packed her bag like always. "I have a call after school," she said. "With who?" I asked. "A family in another state," she replied. "Their son took money from his grandmother." I watched her leave. Emma wasn't chasing revenge. She wasn't chasing recognition. She was choosing control. And she didn't need anyone's permission. 6 months passed. Life didn't return to what it was. It moved forward into something quieter. The case closed in pieces. Hearings, filings, final decisions. Mark accepted a plea, no trial, no speeches, just paperwork and time. Emma didn't ask about the sentence. She focused on school, on routines, on the work she had chosen for herself. Our finances stabilized slowly, nothing dramatic, just careful steps, one bill at a time, 1 month at a time. One evening, I found Emma at the kitchen table, reviewing a checklist on her laptop. "What's that?" I asked. "Account safety steps," she said, "for new clients." I nodded. She looked up. "I'm going to stop taking calls for a while." "Why?" I asked. "I don't want this to be my whole life," she replied. That made sense. A letter arrived later that week. From Mark. The final one. He wrote that he understood now, that he had lost the right to be heard, that he hoped Emma would live well. Emma read it once. Then she placed it in a folder with the others. Not the trash. Not her desk. A folder marked closed. Spring came. Emma turned 13. There was no party, just cake at home, candles, a quiet evening. When I asked her what she wanted, she didn't hesitate. "A normal year," she said. One afternoon, while washing dishes, she asked, "Do you ever wish it ended differently?" I thought for a moment. "No," I said, "I wish it ended honestly." She nodded. That night, she shut her laptop without setting reminders. No alerts, no monitoring. Just sleep. Weeks later, a notification popped up on my phone. A deposit. A small one. Emma looked over my shoulder. "That's from the first family I helped," she said. "They insisted." I smiled. "College fund?" I asked. She nodded. Outside, the bus stopped at the corner. Kids laughed. Life moved. Emma grabbed her backpack. "Ready?" I asked. "Always," she said. And as I watched her walk out the door, I understood something clearly. Mark hadn't taken her future. He had revealed it. And Emma had already chosen where she was going next. You have reached the end of the text.